Should I use Plant Trust on my roses? Can I dethatch my lawn now? And which Turf Trust fertilizer do you recommend? I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well folks, it's officially March and my inbox has started to become flooded with questions from you about what to do with your gardens, what to do with your lawns, and obviously we are happy to help. Now, I actually selected 5 emails for this week's video podcast, so buckle up everybody, let's jump right in. Question number 1 is from Rick. Tim, I'm thinking of using Plant Trust for my roses. I usually use Espoma Rose Stone monthly. Will Plant Trust give good results for the roses, and how often should it be applied? So Plant Trust is actually not the product that you want to use for your roses. What you want to use is Garden Trust. Now, even though Plant Trust is designed for trees and shrubs, it's really formulated to help with the foliage. So unless you want your rose bushes to just have a lot of green leaves, it's not the best product for your roses. Garden Trust is specifically formulated to help with blooms, to help with stronger buds. If you have a vegetable garden, it's actually going to help produce more fruit. So Garden Trust is actually the product that you want to use for your roses, and obviously it's available over at rosensonline.com. Now, in terms of timing, you can start fertilizing your rose bushes now, and one application should last you, 2.5, 3 months depending on the weather. So again, I'm not entirely sure what type of rose bush you have, but you don't want to make, any more really than 2 applications. So you can make one now. You can make a second application maybe in the very early summer, but then you want to stop because you want to make sure that any of that new growth that is produced on that rose bush has time to harden off before winter. The next question is from Anne. Tim, what type of fertilizer should I use for my star magnolia? Plant Trust? So much like the previous question, the answer is no, you do not want to use Plant Trust. Now folks, anytime that I talk about Garden Trust and Plant Trust, if you happen to use the wrong fertilizer, you're not hurting the plant that you're applying it to. It's just not necessarily getting the right balance of nutrition, and therefore it may not grow exactly the way you expect. It may not bloom properly. So in terms of a star magnolia, obviously the flowers that it produces, those are the stars of the show. And so you want to maximize how many blooms you get, and that's why you want to use Garden Trust. Garden Trust is designed for flowering, for your vegetable gardens to produce a greater harvest. Plant Trust is designed for your trees and your bushes, and it's really geared around creating, those bright green, healthy looking leaves. So for deciduous trees, maples, things like that, it's going to just produce better foliage. Obviously for evergreens, it's going to do the same thing. It's not geared towards any type of blooms. It's not geared towards any type of berry production. It's certainly not producing any type of vegetable. So again, it's just really important to remember that fruit or flowering is going to go with Garden Trust. Green foliage is really geared towards Plant Trust. That is the distinguishing difference between the two. You may still get some decent blooms with Plant Trust, but you'll get more with Garden Trust. And if you put Garden Trust on your trees or your shrubs, yes, it's going to improve the overall green leaves, but it's not going to get quite as much nitrogen as the Plant Trust. So again, you're not going to hurt the plant if you put on the wrong one, but there is an optimal fertilizer for each type of plant. So in your case with the star magnolia, you definitely want to get down Garden Trust. Question number 3 is from John. Hi Tim, I buy Turf Trust every year for my lawn, which is usually perfect. Although, due to this past late summer and winter, the lawn has not fared well. Which Turf Trust product do you recommend? I do have Barenbrug seed if I need to patch. So if there are no phosphorus restrictions in the area that you live, we always recommend the Turf Trust Professional Starter Formula. Its formulation is 24, 2, and 12. And so really that 2% phosphorus is the only difference between it and the maintenance formula. And again, that 2% phosphorus just makes it a little bit better than the maintenance formula. So for my money, in terms of what I put down on my own lawn, it's always the Turf Trust starter formula. But again, if you live in an area that does not allow phosphorus in fertilizers for established lawns, then using the maintenance formula, you're going to be just fine. The fourth question is from Lou. Hello, Tim. Is now an okay time to dethatch? I am not interested in reseeding, just want to get rid of all the brown grass. I live in southeastern Pennsylvania. So the best time to dethatch your lawn is when it is actively growing. Now, I don't know what your lawn looks like right now, but it might be a touch early to dethatch. Once it's warm enough and you are actually starting to see that grass grow, go ahead and dethatch. And fortunately, it's early enough in spring where if you're not overseeding, that should give your lawn plenty of time to kind of fill itself in before that, late spring, early summer hits. And the reason that's important is because when you dethatch, you tend to rip up some of the good grass in that process. So that can cause your lawn to look a little bit thin. So again, as long as your grass is actively growing, you can definitely dethatch it, and spring is a perfect time to do that. The final question for today is from Kenneth. Tim, is there a pre-emergent crabgrass preventer that will allow me to overseed shortly after application? Unfortunately, no. And the reason for that is any type of weed or crabgrass preventer creates a chemical barrier on the soil surface to prevent that crabgrass from germinating. Now, crabgrass, like all weeds, have certain seasonal windows where that germination process can begin and be successful. Well, the crabgrass preventers on the market, and that includes Dimension, but any other lesser crabgrass preventer, it's going to be really the same issue, is they're designed to prevent crabgrass. And so they are actually going to last slightly longer than that seasonal window. So if where you live, that seasonal window is 3 to 4 weeks in late March, early April in terms of when it germinates, then guess what? You're gonna have preventers that are going to last 4, 5 weeks, because again, they want to prevent the establishment of crabgrass. So they're always going to last longer than that seasonal window that a crabgrass or any type of weed needs to germinate. So to answer your question, no. I'll be honest with you. If you're really worried about that, put the grass seed down and then use something like an Image all-in-one weed killer in the late spring or early summer to kill any crabgrass that comes up. Likewise, you may just not want to worry about it. Kill the crabgrass in the spring and the summer, and then again, look at overseeding your lawn in the fall, which is really the ideal time in terms of overseeding and when you want to do it because of those seasonal temperatures. All right, folks, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. Folks, over at rosensonline.com, we have our annual Turf Trust Triple Play promotion going on right now. And the reason it's going on right now is because March is the time that you want to put down the Turf Trust fertilizers, you want to put down your broadleaf weed control with Gallery, and in late March, early April, you want to make sure that you get down your crabgrass control with Dimension. All three of those products have been bundled together with our Turf Trust Triple Play, and you're going to be saving on the products you buy. It's going to qualify for free shipping. So if you are the type of person that puts down your fertilizers and your weed controls and your crabgrass controls within the next 30 to 45 days, then you absolutely want to take advantage of the Turf Trust Triple Play right now. So head over to rosensonline.com and take advantage of the savings. Now, folks, I mentioned this last week, and I'm going to mention it for the next several weeks until everybody starts to really remember it. Right now, we are actually offering you the chance to get free bottles of Kickstart. And the way to do that is quite simply. As you know, right now, if you spend over $100 with us online, you're going to get free shipping. Well, if your order exceeds $200, and oh, by the way, some of the packages for the Turf Trust Triple Play already exceed $200, we're going to give you a free bottle of Kickstart. If your order exceeds $300, we're actually going to give you 2 bottles of Kickstart completely free. It's just our way of saying thank you and making sure that we can get the products that you need into your hands more quickly. So again, head over to Rosen's Online and just remember that the more you spend with us, the more you're going to save in terms of product cost, shipping cost, but now you're actually going to get some free bottles of Kickstart. Folks, as always, if you have questions and you want to take part in this video podcast each week, make sure you send an email directly to me, tim@rosensonline.com. All of those emails that you send come right to me. We go through them, we pick out the 4 or 5 that we want to review the following week. And obviously, even if your question does not end up on this video podcast, we answer 100% of the emails that we receive. Folks, I want to thank you for all the time that you spent with us today. It really means a lot to us. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week. God bless.